I think we wore ourselves out yesterday. We didn't really plan on it. We didn't have like a long day planned, but I'm tired this morning. Getting everybody fed. The cows are angry today. I don't really know why. They're just up here yelling. Go get our girls. Get them milked. I thought today we would do a video on why we chose Nigerian Dwarf goats for our homestead over another goat breed for milk. 1, 2, 3. Cece. No Zellies allowed. You want to go, Pixie? Come on, best friend. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Pepper. Good morning, Pepper. Good morning, babies. Okay, let's go milk your mommies. Okay, who's first? Mommy? Man, you're cool. Breakfast time for babies. Stand training with Pixie is a challenge. Definitely a challenge, but that's one benefit to having a Nigerian is that they're small. So you're trying to stand train a goat that's over 100 pounds and it steps on your hand. That really stinks. She's probably about 50 pounds. She steps on my hand. It sucks, but it's not the end of the world. You're ready. Break out of jail. Right. Mom. Look at that, no screaming this morning. Go, Pepper. Come on, little bit. Come on, Pepper. Come on, Pepper. Yeah. Let's go this way. That went pretty smoothly, other than the two new babies. So one of the main reasons that we chose Nigerian Dwarf goats, at least for me, was the ability to handle them. So I am small framed human. I don't have a ton of upper body strength. These guys at max, my girls have been maybe 60 to 65 pounds. They're 20 to 22 inches tall. I can pick them up by myself and carry them if I have to. I can put them in a dog kennel and put them in my car and take them to the vet. I don't have to have special transportation like a trailer or something in a truck bed to be able to transport them. And that's really big for me. I can pick them up, they're easy to handle, they get in someplace. And I can tell you, having a Nubian, there's a big difference. Sorry, I'm getting attacked by a baby goat. So that's a big reason for me personally is I can handle them, they're small, they get to being too crazy, they're not going to hurt me in the way that a large goat would hurt me. And so I think it's a really big deal. If you have kids and you're looking for a goat for them to start with, I would really recommend Nigerians. If you're new to goats, I would recommend them. They have great personalities, most goats do. Every goat is gonna be different, but for me especially, just them being small and me being able to handle them is a really big deal. So another reason to choose them is butterfat content in their milk. So Nigerians, butter fat in their milk runs between 6 and 10%. Pretty much every other goat breed is going to be 6% or lower. So Daisy is a Nubian and they run at highest about 6% butterfat. What that means is your cheese and any kind of products that you're going to make are going to be sweeter and creamier, and their milk is sweet and creamy. So for them specifically, my father-in-law loves their milk because he says it tastes like melted ice cream. And it really does. It's very sweet, it's very rich and very creamy. And even if you don't like sweet milk to drink, it's really what you want to make cheese and other dairy products with. So definitely a plus. So then there's the argument that, but what about capacity? So what about the fact that this is a tiny goat, and can this tiny goat produce as much milk as me and my family are gonna need? And the truth is, for how small they are, they produce a really good amount of milk. So any Nigerian dwarf goat that's got good genetics and good milk lines should give you about a quart of milk a day in 2 milkings. All of my well-bred girls do that, and even Twiz, who we're not 1,000,000% sure about her genetics, gives me a quart a day when she's milking without babies on her. So yeah, if you have a large family, I have friends that have big families, and maybe you need a big full-size goat. So for me, I would say if you're gonna need Nigerians, you're gonna at least need 2 milkers to provide milk for your family. We would need that. Right now I milk 4 at a time, and that gives me about half a gallon of milk a day, milking once a day. So you can imagine if I'm milking twice a day, 2 goats, that's half a gallon. That's plenty of milk for us. It's more milk than we know what to do with. It's milk to make cheese and soap and all of those things. But that's kind of a decision for you and your family. For me, we've debated, honestly, going back and forth between a big goat and all these little goats, but they're easy to milk and they have really good capacity for the amount of feed that you have to feed them. So that's the thing. They take up less space. They require less feed, but they're still gonna give you a ton of milk. Also a huge pro. So just made some cheese the last couple of days, and this is the whey that's left over, and he normally really likes it. What do you think? Look, for dogs. He's just too polite. You don't eat it, I'm gonna give it to the pigs. So if you are starting out and you don't have necessarily a barn or a space to keep them, and you're trying to stay low budget, they don't need a lot of space. And really, if you start out with 2 Nigerians, like 2 girls, you could use a doghouse. And that's really nice because you don't have to have like big facilities. You don't have to have like a specific shelter for goats. You can just start out, even I've seen people keep them in a dog blue. They just need to be out of the wind and the rain. And this is another benefit to the smaller goat, is that shelter doesn't have to be as big. If you have them out on pasture, You don't have to have as big of a space. You can keep several of these. You can keep 2 in your backyard. In a traditional, probably 1/4 of an acre lot, you could keep 2 goats, and that would be enough, you know, pasture and housing for them, so they wouldn't really take up more space than your dog. And you could milk on your back porch, or you could just have a little milk stand out in your backyard, and you wouldn't have to have special facilities for them. Versus if you had big goats, like this girl, she's not gonna fit in a dog glue comfortably. She used to get into dog glue when she was a baby. You just don't need, she's gonna need bigger housing, and you have to have 2 goats, so her and a friend would need probably bigger housing than these guys. Definitely fit in a dog house in a limited amount of space. So that's really good. So if you're trying to do this maybe in your backyard, or you don't have a ton of land, that's a big consideration, because they're great as backyard goats. And there are a lot of city ordinances that won't let you keep like a big goat, but they'll let you keep 2 miniature goats in your backyard. So something else to consider is that Nigerian bucks, if you want to keep your own buck, since Nigerian bucks are smaller, you don't have to have, again, because they take up less space, it means that you might have room to keep your own buck. And they're a little bit less stinky because they're smaller. They still stink, but a little bit less because they're smaller. And you don't have to have as tall a fencing, because we have about 4-foot fence because our goats are short. Where if you had a big goat, if you had a bunch of big goats and a big buck, you might need taller fencing. So that's another thing. They take up less space. Fencing can be shorter. It's a little bit easier to keep a buck because they're smaller. So if you're worried about a male goat being aggressive, the great thing about Nigerians is that they only weigh about, again, 60 pounds. So most large breed goats breed in the fall only for spring babies. Nigerians, you can breed any time of year. They go into heat every 28 days, so you have milk year round. If you have a bigger goat, they're only gonna breed in the fall, and you're probably gonna dry up with your milk about November, December, and not be having milk. Well, you could probably stretch them out until February if you're bred for April, but you're gonna have to dry them off for 2 months, and so you're gonna have 2 months without milk. With Nigis, you can stagger your breeding so that you have milk year-round. Those are my reasons for choosing Nigerian dwarf goats for our homestead. They were just the right fit for us. They're smaller, they're easier to handle, they're a little bit more economical for space and food-wise. If you're getting started, they can go in your backyard. You don't need a ton of space for them. They're prolific. They have lots of babies every year, which helps you a little bit on cost. Sell the babies, or if you're trying to grow your herd, you can do that pretty quickly. They have high butterfat, which means they have sweeter milk that makes better cheese and yogurt and all the milk products. And they're easier to handle. It's also really great if you need to keep a buck. If you want to keep a buck, that you have, he's not gonna need a lot of space, and he's not gonna be as big or as stinky as a big buck, which makes it a little bit easier when you're getting started. So I hope this has been helpful. Feel free to ask me any kind of question about Nigerians that you want to know. I don't know that I'm going to know all the answers. They're definitely really hardy compared to our Nubian. They tolerate worms a lot better. I've found they're great moms. They're just great little animals, and they're definitely our favorite. We love Daisy. She's derpy and she's wonderful, and she provided a ton of milk when we bred her. But I just love my Nigis, and they've been a great goat to just get started with, especially when you're just learning goats. So yeah, leave me a comment if you have a question. What do you think? Are Nigis a good fit for you, or no, you really want a big goat because you want all that capacity?
She always gets you. Let me guess. You're the perfect dog, and let me guess. You always listen to her when I'm not around, don't you? Don't you? Don't you? You always listen to her when I'm not around. You're the perfect dog.
Here, come close again.
We gotta close the door.
Guess who's so small she snuck in with the babies tonight and Mom didn't notice. But she's been obviously kicked out of dinner. Ink. Sorry, kiddo. I know you're small. This is kind of what they do. They really should have it cleaned up by now. It's not very much, so they've been fighting more than eating. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed this video today about why we chose Nigerian Dwarf goats for our homestead. Maybe Nigerians are right for you. If you have any questions about Nigerians or Nubians or the differences that I've seen between the two, feel free to leave me a comment and let me know. Let me know if you like this video. Make sure to give us a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. That really helps our channel grow. It helps YouTube promote us. There's a lot of new people out there, guys, and we're so excited that you're here, and we're just so thankful, and we really appreciate all the likes and the subscribing that's been going on lately. Yeah, so if you like this video, we'll see you guys later.